My name is John Rosinbum. I am a high school teacher, I am a consultant, and I also work for the College Board. The reasons that I chose to work in the various ways that I do is because I moved down to Tucson, Arizona for my wife's job. And then after being there for a few years while finishing my dissertation, I started teaching at a local charter school and really fell in love with working with middle school and high school kids, and then continued to expand my interest by looking at different ways that I can get involved with the historical profession, and then also through working with the College Board through a couple of AP classes that they're teaching. I was teaching online, and I was for Arizona State University, and I was writing my dissertation. And it was my final year of writing my dissertation as I was teaching online. I was staring at a computer all day long. And I'm the type of person that really loves teaching and loves interacting with my students. And you can do some of that through online education, absolutely, but that face-to-face contact you don't really get when you're teaching online, obviously. So I was looking for that. And I found that by teaching middle school while finishing up my dissertation. And so I started there, and then one thing led to another, and I got an opportunity to participate in a brand new College Board course called the AP Capstone Program. And this was their first year of implementation, and so I went to a training, and then off of that training I met the director of one of the programs, and then after that I started consulting for them, and then from there I went on to being one of the members of the development committee for AP Research. AP Capstone is a 2-year program, and I work primarily with AP Research, but I also teach AP Seminar. AP Seminar is the first year of the 2-year program, and in that course it's interdisciplinary. Anyone can teach it. It can be taught from a scientist's perspective, from a historian's perspective, from a language arts perspective, from a fine arts perspective, but the goal of it is to analyze various forms of arguments and how are arguments presented to us, and how can we assess their credibility, their validity, and understand what those arguments actually mean, and then from there, how can we make our own arguments? And so rather than taking one big test at the end of the year that determines their AP score, they do actually 2 essays and presentations throughout the year that go into about 60% of their AP score, and then the last 40% is determined by a final essay. Then the next year is AP Research, and that's actually, I think, the most exciting one. And AP Research is what I'm really involved in as part of the development committee. And there, students are able to design a research project of their own choice. They need to go in and find a topic they're interested in and look at the academic literature surrounding that topic. Then find a gap in the literature and see if they can fulfill it through an academic study that they create, design, implement, write up in a 4,000 to 5,000 word essay, and then present. It's a really exciting program, and it gives these students an opportunity to do some fascinating things. For example, last year I had a student who actually worked on macrophages in mice and how to help treat Niemann-Pick type C disease. And so he wrote up a research project on that. Another student wrote about the role of art in the sustaining of Polish nationalism during the partition. Still another student wrote about colonialism, education in Tucson, Arizona. And so there's a wide range of types of projects these students can do, ranging from the historical to social sciences to the hard sciences. And that's a really exciting opportunity for them and for me to teach. When I'm working with my students through the AP Capstone program to try and talk about arguments, and for this whole fake news experience that we've been talking about and so much in the actual news, has been giving them 2 different acronyms. One is RAVEN and one is CRAP. And it's different ways that they can look at arguments to assess their reliability, their accuracy, their validity, and I forget the E and the N, for CRAP, or I say PARC, for evaluating arguments, you talk about what is the purpose of the argument, what is the ability to observe by the person who actually made the argument, are they on the ground, do they have actual reporting, what is the authority of the person who makes the argument, is someone who has a reason to lie to you or has stakes in their argumentation, what is the currency of the argument, and what is the reliability of the argument. And all these things put together are ways that we talk to students about how to assess the types of arguments that they're being bombarded with constantly as they're going through their lives. And so it's applicable to the tools of the historian, applicable to both the study of history, the study of research, and just their day-to-day life. One other thing to add to it too is that we go beyond sort of the traditional, let's read an article and then assess, whether it actually is reliable or not. Instead, we also look at other things, images, graphs, and charts. And in this day and age of, where students are bombarded with media, bombarded with these images that purport to be truth because they're numbers. We talk a lot about how you can use numbers to lie, and how to use graphs to lie and to manipulate the truth in a wide range of ways. The ways that graduate school really helped me with my teaching for both U.S. history at the high school level, for my College Board work, and for my research methods in AP Capstone that I teach at the high school level as well, I got a lot of opportunity to engage, obviously, in the hardcore analysis of sources in graduate school and writing my dissertation. But what we didn't talk too much about was how to teach that to other students. We talked about, well, here's how to teach content, and there was a lot of discussion about, basic ways for students to better understand the past as far as hardcore content, but the skills were not something that was emphasized in graduate school. A lot of that came from on-the-job training, and then also from my undergraduate degree, which was in secondary education. What I'd say to graduate students is, twofold. One, don't be afraid to try something that you weren't necessarily prepared for in graduate school, in the sense of, or explicitly prepared for in graduate school, rather, because, one of the messages that I got a lot is going through graduate school, well, we're training you to go on the tenure track market and then get a professorship. And, for many people, that's what they want to do. I found out that that's not what I want to do. There are other things that are more valuable to me, where I live, and my work-life balance, and then the flexibility to be able to pick up and work really hard for a couple months and then go a little bit easier another month. And so this sort of flexibility and consulting work that I have. And then another one is that you need to make your own opportunities. You need to be your own advocate. I think in our graduate school courses, oftentimes we think that, well, you're going to publish and you're going to teach well, and that's going to make you a viable candidate on the market, and then you'll get a job, and then you'll get tenure, and then life will be wonderful. And for some, that's true. But for others, if you want to create your own career, you've got to go out and talk to people and create your own opportunities and be willing to advocate for yourself in spaces that you traditionally wouldn't be comfortable in doing as a hardcore academic. I know this sounds a bit crass, but you have to learn how to network, which is, I know, all this sort of business speak, but it actually is important. At the career fair tomorrow, I'll be talking with people about my personal experience as far as creating a career for myself, sort of an alternate academic career, one that's very fulfilling, but then also for people who are interested in still pursuing the life of the mind and pursuing a graduate level sort of work after they graduate. They don't have to go to a tenure track job. There are high schools, specifically my high school is a wonderful place to work where you can teach and teach really high achieving students. Give them fantastic stuff to read. Just believe in them. And you can have just as fulfilling an experience working with them as you would have at a state, public, private university. Because it's a really incredible opportunity for people that I think a lot of them see that as a failure, but it's not. Teaching at the high school level can be a wonderful opportunity. I love that I get to choose where I want to live. I love that I get to work with people that fascinate me in a wide range of areas that's interdisciplinary, that is not simply within a single academic department. I love the fact that I get to travel when I'm consulting, but I also get to stay home when I'm teaching high school. I love the fact that I get to participate in writing things for the AHA, when I want to, and then when I don't, I don't. But there's no pressure on me from a tenure committee or from a university provost who's saying you've got to publish, publish, publish. I get to choose when I want to publish. And I don't have the pressure that I know some of my friends and colleagues do. As far as what graduate students can do while they're in graduate school to help prepare them for a different job market, for a different career than one in sort of the tenure world, is one, get out there and go to places that you would not traditionally think of as valuable for your career. Go talk to some high school students, judge some National History Day competitions, participate in a sort of your local high school's job fair in your local high school's history day. Offer a guest lecture at a high school class and see what you think, because you might find that's really what you're interested in. Try middle school, because you know what? Middle school can be a lot of fun too in ways that you wouldn't normally think about. I have a friend who finished his PhD and is now teaching fourth graders and absolutely loves it. Get out there, try new things, and talk to other people who are participating in other forms of employment outside the traditional tenure track environment. If you're at the AHA, go to the career fair and talk to the people who are there, because they'll have a wealth of information and expertise to connect with you. Finally, social media. Get on Twitter and connect with other historians, and you will see that not all historians on Twitter, not all historians on social media are doing the things that you think historians have to do. Sometimes there are other ways to be a historian after you're done with graduate school. One thing I'd say to graduate students, as someone who's gone through the process, you've got to love what you do. And if you find that searching for a position you're doing out of responsibility or out of duty or out of some sort of obligation and you're not happy, then go look somewhere else, because it's out there. Those opportunities are out there. So find what you love and go and do it.